All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac podcast here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Of course, on 1010XL's app, and we are live on Facebook as well. 1010's page and my personal page. Good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. Suck it up Tuesday, right? It's a work day. Well, we're here to have some fun and work. Look, it's the doldrums of summer. Right, the boys of summer baseball's ongoing, of course, but we're waiting a few more weeks, about 4 more weeks for the starts of training camps all around the National Football League. So looking forward to that. Hey, hats off to the Gators, man. I did watch some of the last game, believe it or not. I didn't watch any other of the first 2 games, but we went to the Jacksonville Sharks game last night, my wife and our youngest and a couple of her friends. I spoke to the team prior to kickoff, so that was cool in the locker room. And then when we got home, we left a little early just to get home because long way from the beach, and stopped at Monkey's Uncle. And what was on? First of all, it was packed, but it was quiet. And we come walking in, my wife's like, Oh, the game. And they're quiet. Oh, man, what a game. But, hey, hats off to LSU. But a great year by Florida, no doubt about it. I'm sure you don't want to hear that this morning, Graham Marsh. How are you, my friend? Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. I watched every pitch last night.
Yep.
And I watched every pitch of all 3 games, even though I'm not a huge baseball guy. But if my Gators in the World Series, I'm going to watch. And,
absolutely. Yeah.
It was. I feel like that series was indicative of how just kind of wacky of a sport baseball can be.
Yep.
You have a thriller in game 1.
Yep.
Where LSU barely pulls it out at the end. That game was the difference because the other 2 games were just 2 dominations.
Yeah, you're right.
Florida just destroys LSU in game 2.
I know.
Game 3
points, man, or runs. That's unbelievable.
Game 3, it's deja vu, but the other way around.
Yep.
Game 1 was really where the series was decided.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, at the end of the day, congrats to LSU and congrats to Florida. It was a great year. We're talking Jags this time around like we normally do. We're gonna have a little fun today. I thought of look, when you got all the premier positions set on your team, you should be a pretty damn good football team. We're gonna go through all those premier positions today and see where we land as a Jag. But again, thanks to Coach Gibson for having me out last night at the Jags game, the Sharks game. They're now 7-2 after they beat Carolina 61-52. I'll tell you about all the great sponsors on this show. I want to start with Chris Lucero's bail bonds. Don't get in trouble. You got to get away from the law. Don't get caught by the law, and don't do anything too illegal. You know what I'm saying? Borderline stuff's okay. I'm just kidding. But, hey, if you get in trouble, he's got an office in St. Augustine and Clay County. He'll take care of you anywhere throughout Northeast Florida. Chris Lucero's Bail Bonds, the #1 name in the bail game. Give him a ring. 904-822-BAIL. That's 904-822-BAIL. Real quick, we'll get into the other guys in a little bit. Real quick, I want to do a little bit of laundry here, if I will. And I want to get your take on this. I'm thinking yesterday, I'm doing Jaguars today. Me and Tony are talking off air as Mike Dempsey's got the day off or the week off. And I said to him, why is it taking so long to find out about Cam Robinson's suspension? It just seems odd that nothing has been declared officially. So I'm assuming he's appealing. So maybe it's going to be less games. I don't know. It just seems like the more longer it goes on, I guess it could go either way, but maybe it's just wishful thinking that he may only get a couple games. We don't even know what he took. We don't even know what the actual substance of the banned substances he took. Everyone thinks steroids. Well, it could be other stuff. I know at one time you could take Adderall, and now you can't take Adderall unless you have a prescription for Adderall kind of deal. So, because guys would get them more focused, zone them in a little bit more. So I think it's interesting. What do you think? Why do you think it's taking so long?
I don't know, and I'd actually never thought about that. That's a good point. Why is it
forever.
so?
Give him the suspension and let's go.
Yeah, you're right. I hadn't even thought about that. But I mean, it's basically July. I mean, we're a couple days from July, and we have no idea what it was, what the punishment's going to be. You're right. I mean, it's going to be weird if we get into training camp and we're not sure what the status is.
Well, I wonder if the Jags know, and if they do know, maybe they're just waiting to announce it. And the NFL allows. I don't know. I don't know the rule. I'm just speculating here, thinking out loud. They've got to know at some point. I mean, camp's a month away. Is he in or is he out? Like, what's the deal? Like, and how long is he out for if he is out?
Didn't you get the sense during the draft that they were going to go tackle pretty much no matter what? That was a sense I got.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is that leads me to believe.
Or corner, maybe.
Yeah. I thought that I felt like almost no matter what, they were taking a tackle. So that leads me to believe that they
are expecting
a decent amount of games,
okay.
at least like 6. Yeah. Right?
Depends what he took. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see what the hang-up is.
It also lets me know that.
I mean, look, if he took something that's on this banned list, got to be punished. I don't really care if they take any. They could be juiced to the gills for all I care. They still got to play the game, and not always the biggest and strongest, and always all that. They're not always the best. But regardless how you feel about that doesn't matter. But it's interesting that Cam is, that suspension has not been officially declared, which, brings us into the premier positions, because left tackle is one of them. Left tackle's a premier position. All right, this is how I broke down the Jags' premier positions. And just from a macro standpoint, what I consider premier positions. You may be like, Tom, I think this, I think that. Okay, I'm sure we can have a little, overlap here, but these are the ones that I picked out. All right, so for offense, quarterback, of course, left tackle, wide receiver 1, a dominant number 1 wide receiver, a tight end, pass catching tight end, and they're all, it's funny, all based off firepower. And the last one to me is a home run hitting running back that could take it to the house from anywhere. Those are 5 premier positions that I think, man, if you got at least 4 out of 5 of those, you should be a damn good football team. We'll go through it as we look at the Jags. We know QB, they're all set. On defense, I look at rush end or outside backer, cornerback, the number 1 cornerback. Now, we don't play a 3-4, but a dominant 3 technique, defensive tackle can totally disrupt an offense. They're a premium position in my book. Nickel is now a premium position. We've been talking about that for a while now. Look, yes, you got to have 2 great outside corners, but that nickelback, man, he has got to be on point. And then I think safety. And I left out the inside backers. Isn't that funny that I did that, being a former one? But I don't think they're premier positions. They stop the run and they get after the pass and maybe they blitz. But to me, a safety has to do it all. You think of the best safeties in the game, like the dude Derwin James, or Minkah Fitzpatrick, right? Even the guy up in Buffalo. Though both of those, Poyer and Hyde, are pretty darn good players. You know what I mean? What do they do? Well, when I look at that kind of position, really good against the run. Great against the pass. They make plays. They've got picks or picking up fumbles, and they blitz. And they're very effective blitzers. Look, I think we have one in Rayshawn Jenkins, but we'll talk about that. And I'm throwing in special teams. And by the way, special teams, they score 100 in my book. You've got kick returner and punt returner, which is Agnew. You've got McManus, who's the kicker. And you got one of the best punters in the league in Logan Cook. Are you kidding me? Those are premium positions. They are very, very important positions to have for scoring, especially, and for field position with your punter. So they get 100% in my book. And we'll just declare that right away.
Can't forget elite long snapper and friend of the station, Ross Matisic.
Long snappers are very important. They are very, very important. So is a holder, but you can find a holder. And you should be able to find a long snapper. No disrespect to our long snapper, of course. It is. I used to play on punt block. Or punt return. Used to be able to ragdoll the center. And the poor guy, like he's snapping and not even, he's in the worst position possible. And it doesn't take much to like get him on the ground and lay on him a little bit. But you're not allowed to do that anymore. You're not allowed to do that. But, yeah, they are obviously very, very important. Hey, you check out the shirt I have. It's a little small. I know. I got to get a little bit bigger size. But J-Dog Junk Removal, good friends of mine, and should be good friends of yours. If you need any help moving anything, I'm talking appliances, office equipment, any kind of junk, whatever. Hey, they take it to the fill as a last resort. They try to refurbish and give back to veterans as much as they can. Veteran owned and operated. If you're a franchise owner, you have to be a veteran. They love hiring veterans, so if you're looking for work as well, they'd love to have you. It's all about respect, integrity, and trust. That's a military way. That's how they run their business. Check them out at jdogjunkremoval.com. You can schedule an appointment right there online. So check them out. All right, let's get into offense. We know the premium positions. Do you want to add a premium position, or would you could say slot receiver? I don't have them as a premium. They're important, no doubt, but I chose tight end and a home run hitting running back before a slot receiver.
I think I would prioritize slot receiver over running back.
Okay.
Other than that, though.
Well, what about? Well, okay, but the running back can be a home run hitter in the pass game too. He doesn't have to be just in the run
for
game.
sure.
You know what I mean?
I just think you're like.
I mean, you think of some of the top guys, Kamaro in with the Saints, a guy like that. You know what I mean? That run or pass, he's a beast.
Where I struggle with that right now is in 2023. I feel like most great running backs, I feel like most of their teams aren't that good right now. Okay. And that's not totally their fault. Well, I'm just saying, like, I don't think. Now you gotta have a great quarterback no matter what, but I it's just a lot of elite running backs right now I don't see going deep into the playoffs.
How important is it for our running back, ETN, to have a big year? He had a big year as a rookie or a second-year player, but pretty big year, 1,400 scrimmage yards. I mean, he could be a dangerous weapon. Now, only have 5 TDs? He needs about 10 to 12 this year in my book. But he's going to have to make those happen as well. You know what I mean? Making big plays.
Yeah, I just feel like with the addition of Ridley, if they're throwing it all over the yard, you are right about him catching the ball, though. So
okay, you're going to throw in slot. All right.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if I'm going to add it, but we can talk about it. But nonetheless, all right, let's go left tackle. That's a question mark right now.
100%.
It's Walker Little. Can he do it? He's done in the past. He should be all right. But he has, not a big enough, study. Not enough times out there as our left tackle. I'm looking forward to see what he can do. Again, that Cam suspension's all over the place. So, I mean, what if it is 2 games? I don't know. Can Walker do enough in camp and in the 2 games to say he's our left tackle? I'm not sure. Are they sitting there saying, look, what did we hear Phil Rosher talk about the O-line? Interchangeable, which I love. Right? I love that. So I'm going to put the 5 best out there. My left guard's down. I got to get my top 5. Well, so-and-so only plays tackle. No. So-and-so plays guard too. And then we'll put another tackle out there if we have to. Whatever the 5 lined up together is best. So I do like that. So question mark at left tackle. Wide receiver number 1. Look, it's Ridley now, right? I feel pretty confident in him, but all we really have are these workout videos, and practice with no pads or nothing. I'm assuming he's going to be great just because he's shown that greatness in the past. His route running's unbelievable. Doesn't have to gather when he makes cuts. He makes them at full speed. He looks smooth. He's got great hands. I mean, they look soft. They look like they can handle a lot of the throws. So I'm expecting him to be the guy. So that's a little bit of a, looking into the future as opposed to, no, I know for sure, without a doubt, he is, he's a premier player at a premium position.
So this might sound confusing, but hear me out on this. I think even if somebody would want to argue that they wouldn't call Ridley a wide receiver 1, I think that the totality of the receiving core is good enough to where it kind of adds up to where they at least have a wide receiver one. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I know that's kind of confusing.
You want
and
a
weird.
collective group to add up to one.
Right.
Okay. So when I think of one, like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is a great receiver. He could be a number one on another team, but he's not because Jamar Chase is there. Take Jamar Chase out of the Bengals offense. How big is that?
Huge.
Okay.
Huge.
Take out Jefferson out of Minnesota. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, and they have other receivers. I mean, look at Cincinnati. They're three across the board. It's Boyd, it's Higgins, and it's Chase.
The Bengals
good.
have the best in the league. Best receiving core in the league.
So that's, and I kind of get what you're saying, look, collectively, because they do throw the ball around, but when you're talking about a premium positions, everybody wants that number one.
Oh, of course.
I mean, we've been dying for a number one. That's why we have Ridley.
Right.
I mean, he's brought in to be the number one. So I'm not going to I'm doing check, we're good, or I got a question mark next to it. I feel like I'm in between with him.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I believe it's going to happen, but I just want to see the chemistry, in real game, pace of the play.
And I think you're going to agree with me on this.
Going 50-50.
I think you're going to agree with me on this. If you're a wide receiver one, I need you to be a threat deep down the field.
Oh, you have to be.
That to me, that's where a wide receiver one is different from anybody else that plays the position, slot or outside. Is I gotta know that defense and that defense coordinator is up at night, worried about you getting 60, getting 70 on any given play.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys you've mentioned are those guys.
Yep.
Chase, Jefferson, Diggs is that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Those guys are legit threats deep down the field.
Play. Right.
And, if Ridley is that guy and he is that wide receiver one, and we do know that on any given play he can give us 50,
right?
That means Kirk and Ingram are going to eat people alive in the middle of the field.
Not only that, you're absolutely right. And just so people out there understand, when you have a receiver like Graham's talking about, that's a threat to go deep every time, to burn that corner, that safety is playing over the top. So what does that do? The safety's got to go with them. Corner goes with them. So now you're doubling that guy, leaves wide open room. I'll throw another one at you. Last year and even the year before, when Jamal Agnew came in, he came in as a slot receiver. What did they do a lot with him? They motioned him, of course. They also went deep with him. So they knew the minute he came on the field, because he's the only one they're worried about. They're not worried about Kirk beating him deep. Zay's got speed. He's sneaky fast. He's not sneaky fast. He's got speed. He may strike a little fear, but nothing like you would like if Ridley turns out to be that number one, or we're talking Chase or the old Jimmy Smith, my friend and team. You know what I mean? That kind of striking fear in the coordinator. You gotta account for that guy. And it does open. But think about that. If you have Ridley and that works out, and now you got Agnew on the inside, you want to put Agnew on a safety one-on-one? Good luck. Good luck. So it does. It opens everything up for an offense. I think it's important to have that kind of threat.
If you are a Jacksonville Jaguar fan right now and you're having a bad day at work or whatever, and you want to think happy thoughts, just think of Calvin Ridley 50 yards deep down the field. Think of Kirk and Ingram in the middle of the field. Think about Agnew motioning somewhere, and then think about ETN coming out the other side of the backfield.
All over the place.
If you just want to make yourself happy,
right,
and just give yourself a little serotonin boost for the day, just think about that.
Yeah. Throw in the kid from Penn State, too, the second tight end. They're going to use him a lot.
Yeah.
They're going to use his
really good athlete.
Yeah, he's got great. It's all about speed, man. It's all about speed, and we are absolutely loving it. No question about it. All right, tight end. I'm going to try to move this a little bit quicker. Tight end, we're good, right? Ingram should be back. I'm not worried about him being back. I saw he was at tight end U. I love all these. Do they have a middle linebacker? What do they do? Just smash each other in the head and then go drink beers at the bar? I mean, that's what you basically do as
tight end U does do their stuff and then go drink beers at the bar.
That's all.
That is part of it.
I think that's and then throw people out of the bar. That's part of your training, if need be. All right, home run running back. I'm going to say yes, we do have that with ETN. I think, hey, look, Hasty doesn't get talked about enough. He showed up last year. I think he, in spurts, is going to get some opportunities. He can make it happen. And, look, Tank looks like he's not only a tank, but he's a fast tank. So we look forward to seeing that. But I'm just saying ETN. I think ETN's going to have a big year. He's my home run guy. I will say we got that. So out of the offense, QB, tight end, home run hitter, running back are yeses. Left tackle's a question mark. Wide receiver 1, I believe it is, but we gotta make sure that comes together. You know, the chemistry is all. It's not ability. It's nothing like that. It's just the chemistry and then where he fits and how he plays. And look, he hasn't played in a while. He'll be a little rusty to begin with, but he'll knock it off. Anyway, special teams, I said, check. All right, 100%. I think we got premium there. All right, defense, this is what I have. I've got, let's go to defense. So rush end, outside backer. Look, if I go Ridley 50-50, I think I got to go that position 50-50, right? Because it's not a total question mark, because Josh Allen has the capability of being that dominating outside backer. He just hasn't shown it consistently enough. And then Trayvon Walker, we don't know. He's got to make a big jump, in my opinion. And I like everything about him. I like his attitude. I like his motor. He's big. He's fast. He looks like he's leaned up. He's ready to go. He should have a lot of confidence going into year 2. All these second-year players should have a ton of confidence. But is he going to be that guy? Is he going to look number 1 pick in the draft to help what? Pass rush. So let's see that happen. I'm giving 50-50 on that one. I can't give him a total check. Just because it hasn't been shown consistently enough.
Yeah, I need more production to see a total check out of that.
Okay.
On paper, it is a total check, but you and I know that when the game starts, we haven't seen a total check.
So, switch it over to the offensive coordinator. When they line up against the Jags defense, how worried are they about Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen?
Not enough.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they get a 50-50.
You know what I'm most worried about if I'm an offensive coordinator at all about either of those guys? Is I'm most worried right now about Trayvon Walker's ability to stuff the run. He's a really good run defender.
Oh, yeah. No, it definitely.
But that shouldn't be the thing I'm most worried about. I should be more worried about Josh Allen hitting my QB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think they both need to hit the QB.
Oh, 100%.
By the way, last night in the Sharks game, knocking them into the boards must be so much fun. We were right there. Coach Gibson gave us great seats. Yeah, I don't even know if I want to be in the front row. My boy Nick Fierce, one of the owners and friends here, he's in the front row. I'm like, man, they're flying through there.
And they flip over the wall. And,
man, so much fun. They drilled the Cobras QB. He had a mouth on him. He kept barking a little bit, so they got after him. They had some good athletes on that team, man. It's cool. I told him, keep playing. Play as long as you can play, because one day it's over. It'll be over. It's over for everybody. I don't care what level we're talking about. And you'll always think back, man, if only I could have played a little longer. I do. I do it all the time. No question about it. All right, so 50-50 on the outside backer rush, and we'll see if hopefully that changes this year. Hopefully we see some domination by this defense. All right, CB1, check. Yeah, Tyson Campbell, he's got a check mark for me. Darius Williams, look, CB2, they're a good 1-2 punch. They need help. They need pressure consistently, and that'll make them even better. But CB1, I'm giving him a check. All right, DT, we don't have that dominating 3. We don't play a 4-3, so we don't have a dominating 3 time. But here's what I'm going to say, and this is a question mark because he hasn't proven it yet. But Foley Fatukasi has got to have a big year this year. He's got to be the player that they remember a year ago during free agency. He was their number 1 target. Doug said it. He's like, he was our number 1 guy. We wanted to get this guy. You talk to your friends up at the Jets when he's playing with the Jets. Oh, man, this guy's unbelievable. He's a wrecking crew. You're going to love him. Well, he had injuries last year, no doubt about it. When he played and was healthy, he actually was a pretty good force. He was in the backfield more times than not, but we need that to happen consistently for this defense to take that step, in my opinion, and for the outside guys to have the success that they need to have. Hey, I'll say the same for Roy Robinson-Harris. No doubt about it. I expect him to pick up where he left off towards the end of last year. Same for Devon Hamilton. But to me, One of the keys to this defense being really, really good is Foley Fatukasi having a big year, and I hope that happens. So I got a question mark there. DT, DN, whatever. Just somebody that wreaks havoc in the backfield. We all know the names. Donald, Simmons, all those guys that you can't block. Chris Jones, they just wreck a team. We don't have that, but maybe we do in Foley Fatukasi. All right, nickel. I'm going to say, I think it's, and again, it's Hernan's job to lose. It's Hernan's job to lose. So he's the nickel. I'm not totally sold on him. I'm sorry, Trey. It's not all his fault, because without a pass rush, it's really hard to play nickel, in my opinion, especially when you're one-on-one. But I'm going to go a question mark there. And then safety. Look, I don't care free or strong. I just think you have to have a playmaking safety. Just a guy that, can play center field if he needs to, can come up and make the sure tackle in the open field, that can blitz and be a very effective blitzer, can be an effective run stuffer, that type of player. Derwin James, we talked about him earlier, Minka Fitzpatrick, guys like that. The guys up in Buffalo. There's others. The Bears have a couple young ones up there as well. But I'm going to give them a check because, I really like Rayshon Jenkins, and he had a monster year last year. He's still in his prime. He's still only 26, 27 years old. I'm expecting him to have a huge year, and I think Andre Sisco's on his way up. So I'm going to give them a check. It's kind of a three-quarter. I'm even going to write that. I just made that up.
My safety's got to make plays.
Three-quarter check. Yeah, got to make plays with the ball in the air for sure.
They need to be turnover machines.
Absolutely.
And Jenkins absolutely was last year.
What's that?
Jenkins absolutely
was. He balled big time. He was a huge. All right, so let's see. Out of 5, 10, 14, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 checks. Full checks, meaning we're good at 8 of those positions out of 14. 4 of the special teams. So whatever, though. They're very important on that. 50-50, we got 2, 3/4, 1, and then a couple question marks. So those things can change. They can change quickly and turn them into check marks. The more check marks you have at premium positions where you're set, the better off your team's going to be. We know this to be true. The grunts are very important. The linebackers inside, the guards, the centers, very important. The blocking tight end. The slot guy when needed to make a play. Very, very important. But you got to have those big-time players, I think, at those big-time positions. All right. Hey, as we wrap up here, I want to remind you, I've got a great deal for you from Riverbend Ranch. Just do this. We got a special offer for the first 55. You text pound 55 meat. Right after meathead, pound 55 meat to 904-234-4893. First 55 people, we got something special for you. Special offer. Of course, check them out, Riverbend Ranch. I tell you, their meat's phenomenal. Right from the ranch. No hormones, no antibiotics, just lean and mean, just like I like my beef. No doubt about it. All right, I hope you all have a great day today. It's a Suck It Up Tuesday, so get after it. Get to work. And around 5 o'clock, pop one open and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? You've earned it then. You've earned it. And then Wednesday, it's hump day, Thursday, weekend. Boom, Friday. I'll be back on Friday right here in the 1010XL studios after my visit with Tony at Jaguars today and E to the T. Mike Dempsey, of course, out on vacation. I'll be right back here in the studios catching up with Tommy Mack. Y'all have a great day. Graham, thanks for joining in.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you next time. Be safe and be cool. We'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Peace.